Teton or something.
Public.
She's screaming and all. Who did it?
On this part.
Yeah.
On all of it.
Yeah, instead of 3, we'll extend it to 5 and see if that works.
I'll make it, or do you want to make the motion?
Let's just get this one, make it at the end. Just to try it. We can always go back if it don't work. I'd like to call this meeting to order, please, and let the record show that all aldermen and mayor are present. Dr. Barnett, will you lead us in the invocation, please, and Mr. Wade, lead us in the pledge.
Pray. Father, we want to come to you. We're grateful we can come to you and talk to you and ask your blessings upon our city and our lives. Lord, a lot of people in our city without power now, and I pray you'd keep them safe, and those who are responding to get everything back up and running, keep them safe on this stormy night. We pray that you'd guide our mayor and board of aldermen, give them wisdom. Lord, strengthen their resolve to do their best. Bless our citizens, bless our city. May its best days be ahead of us. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion from Alderman Wade, second from Alderman Large Hinton. All four?
Aye.
Any again? Okay. We've got three public hearings tonight. The first public hearing is 4005 Government Street, PIDN number 6012703.040. Request approval for a minor subdivision of a 2-lot subdivision. Mr. Wade?
Thank you.
We need a motion.
Public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Blackman, second by Alderman Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Wade, you want to?
Thank you. Wade Morgan, Interim Community Development Planning Director. And the proposed subdivision is on the screen there. It's at the corner of, on 4005 Government Street. It is on R1 Single Family Residential. And the request is to divide this property into 2 lots. You see how the proposed lot arrangement is shown there on the screen with the one larger piece of property and another one in the lower corner of the property. This is actually done originally in 2007. However, the owner did not follow through and file a final plat as required by the ordinance. So he is redoing it basically in the same plan that was approved back in 2007. I think that really summarizes what the situation is, and if you have questions for me, I'm glad to answer anything about it. Thank you.
Board have any questions? Wade?
None.
No.
Okay, I'd like to ask anyone from the public that'd like to speak for or against. Okay. Is there a motion to close?
Come out of closed session, or
Public hearing.
public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion by Alderman Blackman, seconded by Alderman Pfeiffer. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion has it. Is there a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Karen. And a second by Alderman Tillis. Call for the vote. Any ayes?
Call for the vote.
Yeah, call for the vote.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right. We have a second public hearing, 1209 Robinson Street, PIDN number 60119434000. Request a zone change from RD 2-family residential to CMX 2 community commercial mixed use. PC recommends denial.
Make a motion to go into public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Hinton, second by Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ms. Wade.
Thank you. As you said, this is a request to rezone the property. It's shown on the property on the upper part of the screen in the red square. As you said, it's zoned RD, which is 2-family residential, allows both single-family and 2-family houses. The request is to rezone it to the CMX 2 commercial mixed-use district, which is the zoning of the property immediately to the west of it. You can see the darker color, and also the zoning that's characteristic along Government Street there at the bottom of the screen. That's intended as a community commercial mixed-use district. It allows most types of retail, office, restaurant, and some type of commercial uses on that property, on that zoning district. And this is coming to you with a recommendation for denial from the Planning Commission, which was passed by them at their June 10th meeting. Was a unanimous vote with 2 members absent. And the standard that one needs to look at in a rezoning based on state laws are that there either is a mistake in the original zoning or that the character of the neighborhood has changed such that the rezoning is appropriate. The applicant made some arguments in their application about the change in the character of the neighborhood. They felt that the extension of the CMX2 district, 1 lot further to the east, was appropriate. The Planning Commission heard from them, also heard from several neighborhood residents, and as I said, after considering all that, we concluded there was not sufficient change in the neighborhood to warrant the zoning change, and so did vote to deny it. I think that summarizes where we are. The applicant, I believe, is here this evening with I imagine, some area residents. We're glad to answer questions you might have, or open it up for the applicant.
Board have any questions for Wade? All right, is there anyone from the public that would like to speak for or against? Mr. Good. Thank you.
I want to welcome all of y'all. I'm really looking forward to the change for most of the citizens in Ocean Springs. And we have the prime project to focus on the type of development that we want to move away from. Robinson Street is in a historic railroad district where we have a lot of our minorities that were impacted by the urban development plan of past administration, unfairly so. I want to read to you a sentence that I thought was very striking from the applicant's application. Considering this property is almost now entirely surrounded by varying levels of commercial development, there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is the past administration then turned the rules so that they could take this property and change it from a residential district into the CMX2, which will allow them to do virtually anything on that property. It is currently conditioned close proximity to railroad tracks. These residents have been historically close to the railroad tracks for generations. It is clearly far better suited for low-intensity commercial use rather than residential. No, it's not. It's been historically a residential neighborhood. The residents want to stay there, maintain their property, and they're looking forward to the leadership from this new Board of Aldermen and our new mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Greg?
How y'all doing? Well, my name is Greg Gibson, and actually I was born and raised at 912 Blunt Street, which is what we call down the road. So a lot of people don't know the history of the neighborhood. So down the road is 912 Blunt Street, Robinson, State Street, Cash Alley. So when you come up there by Macedonia, that was the halfway point where we would meet on the playground to play basketball, and of course we worship at Macedonia. Up by School Street, that was called up the road. So it was up the road, down the road, and we meet halfway. The characteristic of the neighborhood has not changed. You know, we still have those same families are there who live there, and it's been generation after generation of families that have been there. What I would ask that the homeowner that owns that piece of property, they should have been cited for not keeping that piece of property up. So it should not be changed over. It needs to remain as residential. And we've been fighting this for years. And as you know, with the urban renewal plan, that was a part of that whole area that they wanted to change. So I'm asking you as a board to recommend that you deny this request. And we've been fighting it for years. We will continue on fighting. And it's only for the best interest of that neighborhood, of the resident. It's not zoned for commercial. It was always residential. Because if you look where the chambers and coming back, all that was green area right there. And absolutely, we used to go there and get water off that well. They had a spring well right there. So we used to go out there and play out there, get water and everything else out there. So a lot of people just don't know the history of up the road, down the road, and that whole residential area. But we know what it's about. We know that families, generation after generational, families that have been there and understand there and they want to stay there. And during the height of Peter Anderson, we're cut off, can't get in and out of those roads and stuff like that. So it's just not a right thing to do, and it's not a lot of ways to get in and out of there, and the traffic is just unbearable. So please, we were asked that you continue on just leaving it as residential the way it should be. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. Esther Payton, 924 Cash Alley. I too stand before you requesting that you deny this request. As Greg Gibson said prior to, that is a residential area. 924 Cash Alley was built by my grandparents back in 1940. We are 7 generations in. Someone still currently resides in that home now. Majority of the homes in there, they're family homes, heir property. It is a quiet community. The property in which we are addressing tonight, it actually belonged to my late uncle, Samuel Thurman, and his wife, Hazel Thurman. And it's their children now who are trying to have it rezoned or name changed for commercial to get in my opinion, a better payout for that piece of property. We don't need it in our community. There's enough traffic in there already. The large trucks that come to make deliveries to the businesses on Government Street, those are the thoroughfares. Robinson Street, DeSoto Street, State Street, Handy Street. We do not need that. Thank you all for listening, and welcome to the new board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have anybody else like to speak? Jay?
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me?
Good evening, yes ma'am.
And the board. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to do a kind of convoluted way of telling you how it would impact me. Yes, ma'am.
You just give us your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Renee Oliver. I live at 916.
You don't have to tell us where you live, ma'am, just your name is good, thank you.
Okay, all right. So, at any rate, kind of convoluted, but you're going to see the picture. On Good Friday, an 18-wheeler came down Robinson Street and somehow or another got all tangled up in some wires. And it pulled the telephone pole down at one end, the tree down at another end, knocked my big section out of my fence on one end. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy, he's not supposed to be here. He's absolutely not supposed to be here. So I went to do my due diligence, got the company. They just sent me back a reply today and said it's not their fault because the city didn't have a sign up and the wires should have been higher than they were, otherwise he wouldn't have been tangled in. Now, I'm not dealing with that part of it at the moment, but I'm saying is that I don't know what that property would be used for a commercial. It may have more commercial, but that has certainly impacted me a great deal. And as you know, I own the Carter Calloway Steamboat House. It's a historical property and I try my best to keep it up. It's important to me that it looks good. I paid for that sign out there with my own money to have that historical sign put up. So it's important to me, and I don't want that kind of traffic destroying my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, James Lewis. I too am a product of that area. I grew up on 809 Persian Avenue. I used to play down there, they called it the Greens. They had the pop guns, sticks that's up there, you made pop guns that were down there. From the road that's going right now. One of the key things is that I was down there delivering food to the Lord of my help from Macedonia that we had. And biggest problem was that I had was that there were two 18-wheelers down there. One on Minnesota and one that's running north and south there. And it's too much congestion already. When you get down there on a Saturday morning and you have the farmer's market that's down there, you've got so much congestion just from that. And one of the key things is we've got to stop going back in and just changing something, just to change something because somebody wants to get a bigger payday. And that's really what it's all about. The person wants to pay to sell the product because it is going from a residential to commercial, and their back pocket will get more money in there. We've got to look beyond that, what is best for Ocean Springs, what is best for that area, how condensed it is, and so much traffic is down there. And if you all know, if you're down there for Mardi Gras, it takes you an hour to get out when the traffic is over, the Mardi Gras parade is over. And that's just another way of going back in and making things so condensed with going back in and changing the commercial. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak for or against?
Good afternoon. My name is Yahya Muhammad, better known as John C. Curry. I come here to ask the Board of Aldermen not to change the property from residential to commercial. Been living there a long time. You always been in some fun, retired, children, grow up there. You wouldn't want no one change where you live to commercial. So I'm asking you all not to do that. Everybody I talk to down there in the community don't want the property changed. So I would like for y'all to respect it, and do that for us. You all are the ones over there, so I'm asking you all not to change from residential to commercial. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Greta Wells. I live adjacent to the property in question, and it's a quiet, neighborhood. We already see a lot of traffic from the Government Street, people making it as a detour. But there has always been a quiet neighborhood, and we would like to keep it that way. I mean, the traffic already. They don't keep the property up as is. No citations, I'm sure has not been written. The grass is up now, still. So, I'm against it. I would like to keep it residential and keep our quiet community that has been since I was a young girl. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak for or against? Okay, if there's no one else, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
We got a motion from Alderman Hinton, second from Alderman Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to deny.
I'll second.
I got a motion from Alderman Stennis, second from Alderman Hinton, to deny. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we have one more public hearing, Spring Plaza sketch plat. You got that? You good?
I just want to make sure that was denying
The rezone.
the rezone, not denying the denial of the
The
rezone.
motion passed that we made to deny.
So you're approving the motion on the agenda to deny the rezone.
Correct.
I just want to make sure it's worded correctly.
You're upholding
You're
the
upholding
planning
planning
commission's
commission's
recommendation to deny the, I'll get it right in a minute.
Okay.
Get it right, I messed up. Okay, so we have a third public hearing, Spring Plaza sketch plat and preliminary plat subdivision 1515 Bienville Boulevard, PIDN number 612-650-11.000. Request approval for a sketch plat for a minor subdivision of a 3-lot subdivision. Planning Commission recommends approval. Is there a motion to go into public hearing?
Bobby, hang on one second. Did we make a motion to come out of the first public hearing?
No.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
I don't know if we did one for
Hinton
the
and Wade.
second.
Yes, we did.
Okay, item 2.
Yes, Hinton and Wade.
Just making sure.
All right, do we have a motion to go into public
So
Make a
hearing?
moved.
motion to go into public hearing. Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Blackman, second by Alderman Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr.
Okay,
Woody.
thank you. Yes, this is the property shown on the screen there. You mentioned this is the Spring Plaza subdivision where the Winn-Dixie formerly was located. Currently, the Winn-Dixie space is being converted to an Aldi grocery store. And it said the request is to divide this into 3 lots. The yellow line there that's highlighted on the screen are the proposed lot lines for this. They would run down the middle of the building, but according to the applicant, they conform with the existing walls between the bays in the shopping center. And also, under their covenants, and also as part of the approval conditions recommended by the Planning Commission, the parking areas would be common, also the access drives and the utilities would be common also, so that there would not be a situation of parking spaces being dedicated for one unit and one bay and not another. They all still will be common as they are right now. And if you're considering that, just said the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the 3-lot subdivision for this. And I'm glad to answer any questions you might have about it.
I think you answered mine. I was going to ask you about the parking requirements with each space. So there's just going to be one common parking.
Correct, one common.
Why draw the lines all the way through the parking lot then?
So from, Wade, the developer and the property owner was here at the planning commission and he explained, because originally we had a lot of questions about it, but they cleared it up with putting it in covenants. Is Aldi wants to be able to have their own lease separate from the whole entire shopping center.
Exactly.
The covenants are going to restrict it to where the property owner will retain all 3 parcels with not being able to sell it without agreeing upon the leases of the other ones. So it's strictly for Aldi to have their own say of what they do.
And are those property lines through the building, those are at demising walls?
As I understand, yes, that's correct. And We did have a question for them about Nathan Greg firewall issues, and discussed that with Daryl, Springfield building official. And because these are, correct me if I'm wrong, Daryl, because these are of a similar character or similar building type, use type, there's not a requirement for firewalls between these.
There is no 2-hour fire
They would
requirement?
have to have the firewall with parapet and everything to separate it.
They do have to have demising firewalls, 2-hour walls?
Some of these already have that.
Okay.
If that's where they're splitting it, some already have that.
Okay.
And at the meeting, the applicant for it mentioned that Aldi is driving this, as Matthew said, that Aldi is typically they deal with freestanding buildings. They're, as they are acquiring the Winn-Dixie space, they're doing this subdivision, and also there are private covenants regarding future uses and what types of establishments and business can also locate it there. So they're wanting to protect their interest in the shopping center.
Any other question?
Has this ever been done in any other shopping centers in Ocean Springs?
I'm not familiar with anything like that. I know that there are some, I think the shopping center where Ace Hardware and those are, I think they have lots carved out, but those are more around the buildings themselves, not through the building. I'm not familiar with one like this where it goes through the building. But as we were discussing with Daryl, if they provide the firewalls, it is compliant with code requirements.
Could you explain the part again about the agreement where you said there's maybe you can help me. If one person wants to sell, how does that work again? That one part about?
They wrote it in their covenants as where it's basically there will only be one property owner for 3 parcels. So they basically, what Aldi's wanting to do is have the parking, the say-so, what goes in that center section. They're protecting themselves, but ultimately there's one owner for the entire complex.
So is this being looked at almost like a condo, or no? How do these other tenants?
All they're worried about is that center section, because what Aldi is doing right now is they're separating it into several smaller units in the center.
You just made it more confusing.
Yeah, I did.
So you said Aldi's separating it into units in the center section. I thought the entire center section was Aldi.
It is.
It is. It's just what they're doing is they're just changing the footprint of what they're doing.
And the parking's gonna be common.
Correct.
And who controls that? The authority on parking being common?
It's both a private covenant imposed by the owners, and also it is a condition on the subdivision that was recommended by staff and by the planning commission also. So that would be included as a condition of approval of the subdivision, that the parking areas and the access drives are common and shared between all the area.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak for or against this minor subdivision?
My name's Tom Aronson, 107 Wade Boulevard. I have a question about the breaking the structure into parts and parcels. We only have one grocery store in Ocean Springs now. Walmart is more than a grocery store, but just a grocery, single grocery. Winn-Dixie's footprint in the situation that's here, is this going to preclude any other grocery stores coming into that area? It's suited for a larger building, larger grocery building in that one spot there. And Aldi's is breaking it into 3 parcels, correct? Is that understanding?
Winn-Dixie never took up the whole building, so yes, there was other parcels even when Winn-Dixie was there.
So
There
that's,
weren't other parcels, there was just other space.
Yeah,
so
other,
that's based to the, what would be the Biloxi side of that, is already vacant. That's what I'm trying to
and
understand.
it's split by firewalls also, so.
And on the other side also, so it's just that center core there, they own both of those spaces. What do you say? That's all I wanted to clarify. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
John.
it. And welcome. Glad to have
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to know if you guys have considered, if this Aldi fails for some reason, are these restrictive covenants gonna make it more difficult for some subsequent buyer? Is it gonna be less attractive for them, and we're gonna have a big empty building there? That's my only question. Once you put restrictive covenants, something like that, it makes it less likely to be used. We don't need another big empty building, we already have some of those already all over the city, because between Hobby Lobby.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak for or against?
Make a motion to close public, hearing.
Public hearing. Got a motion by Alderman Blackman, second by Alderman Pfeiffer. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Is there a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve Spring Plaza sketch plat and preliminary plat subdivision 1515 Bienville Boulevard, PIDN 612-650-11.000. Request for approval for sketch plat for a minor subdivision of a 3-lot subdivision.
Got a motion by Alderman Blackman,
Second.
second by Alderman Tillis. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passed. All right, so now we're on to agenda public comment. The public is invited to address the board for up to 3 minutes each for a maximum period of 30 minutes on regarding issues listed on this agenda. Please identify yourself and the agenda item you are addressing, please.
I don't think I'm gonna get used to this. Y'all used to this yet? So nice breath of fresh air. There are 3 items I want to comment on that are on the agenda. First, I want to comment on new business appointment of Mayor Pro Tem. I would like y'all to at least consider, I know traditionally it's been focused on the alderman at large, no disrespect. But I'd like y'all to consider sort of rotating that around. We have a lot of new candidates here in office. They have a lot of bright ideas, a lot of capabilities and experience. I think each one of y'all would do a wonderful job at Mayor Pro Tem, and just would y'all consider that, not just appointing one person in for 4 years, maybe rotating it around, spread out a little experience. Thank you for your consideration. Item number 2 is under human resources. There are 2 things listed here. The extension of the probationary period for the battalion chief and authorization extension for the probation of the firefighter Dawson Wicker. I support that. There are also several items here listed in the department reports for our police, for certain services and contracts that they're doing. I would support those also. I think our new Board of Aldermen, our new mayor, should reach out and support our firefighters and our police department as much as possible. I'm going to say this again. I think that y'all need to look at the budget closely as y'all move into y'all's new positions and do everything y'all can to support our firefighters and our policemen and their salaries. And then finally, I want to comment on the building department, approval of recommendations for tree applications. That's been a particular sensitive issue for this city as we've gone through mass development over the last 4 years. It's been a lot, we've lost a lot of our canopy. We just had a protest yesterday for the tree out right across the street from Phoenicia. That was approved. I would actually ask y'all to reconsider that application. I know that the developer is sort of having second thoughts on that, and I was hoping maybe the Board of Aldermen would
probably incentivize that in some way that you don't have to give up one parking space. And the large parking lot at 1515 is walking distance, half a block away. So it would be nice if our new Board of Aldermen reached out to those gentlemen and found some resolution to that. But in support of this item on the department, I would recommend that y'all put a moratorium on some of these tree cuttings. If it's an emergency, if it's a critical condition, if there's a loss of life or a house failure, I can understand that. But for now, I think the city, as y'all move into y'all's new rules and y'all try and get a grip on everything that y'all are doing, they y'all put a moratorium on all these just miscellaneous cutting of trees until y'all can get a handle on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Anybody else like to speak to the agenda item?
I'm not sure if this is the time to address it or not. There's a big.
On the agenda?
Ward 2. On the $2.2 million ARPA grant y'all got for Weeks and Homestead Bayou. I know this isn't a question and answer session, but I'm hopeful,
It's on there to award
It's
it.
O.
It's not just award the contract.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm curious what kind of public discussion or when it would happen this time. What they're gonna do to the Weeks and Homestead Bayou.
It's not gonna be a public
Okay.
hearing, it's just a project to stabilize the ditch that leads to Weeks Bayou. It's not doing anything with the actual
Part of that
bayou.
goes through my yard, and so I have an interest in what y'all.
If you
plan to
haven't
do.
been contacted, it's not gonna affect your yard. We've contacted all the adjacent neighbors.
All right.
Thanks, John. Anyone else?
I know y'all are super excited to see me up here. But I do want to say it's really good to see all the new faces. Oh, Melissa Burton, 1109 Washington Avenue, the alley vacation issue. It's not on the agenda, but there is a public notice that was put out that said it was going to be on the agenda.
Can we wait till the next public comment, if you don't mind, for this?
Okay, yep.
Right. This is just strictly for what's on the consent agenda. Is there anyone else who wants to address a consent agenda item? No. Okay, we'll move along. We got new business. Appointments to boards and commission. Anyone want to address this? We're gonna hold up on this item till the next board meeting. Is that the request?
Am I making a motion?
I think if it was all in agreement, we just table this to the next meeting.
Motion to table the appointments to boards and commissions until the recess meeting in July.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, discussion about appointment of the mayor pro tem.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Matthew Hinton, mayor pro tem.
We got a motion
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor?
Hold on.
Or discussion? You got discussion?
I'd like to amend the motion to make it for a 1-year term, so it can rotate between other aldermen over a 4-year period.
Every July? First meeting in July?
First meeting in July.
I thought that's the way we normally do it.
Well, it's a gentleman's agreement, it has always been, but we need to make it official.
Okay. Make a motion to appoint Matthew Hinton for a 1-year term for mayor pro
We
tem.
got a motion.
I'll second.
And you second? Got a second?
I second it.
Okay. Second by Alderman Tillis. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passed. Congratulations, man. Okay. Adopt a resolution appointing Mississippi Municipal League voting delegates for the city of Ocean Springs for MML. Anybody want to?
Traditionally, the mayor's the primary, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And so we would just need to make a motion to appoint the mayor for the primary voting delegate and someone else for the alternate.
Correct. And I do believe that.
I make a motion that we appoint alternate Shannon Grace Pfeiffer as alternate.
Okay,
Second it.
we got a motion, Alderman Hinton, second by Alderman Stennis. This is a roll call vote. Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passed. Let's see, we move forward to consent agenda. Does anyone have anything to pull from the consent agenda?
I do. I'd like to-
Hold on, before we do that, Bobby, I believe we need to make a motion to appoint you as the primary as well.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So,
Go back. We only did the
Yeah, we did.
alternate.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mayor Cox as the voting delegate, primary voting delegate for MML.
We got a motion?
Second.
And to adopt the resolution.
To adopt the resolution.
And we got a second by Alderman Hinton. Roll call.
Aye.
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 Good, motion passes. You got it right? Okay, move on to consent agenda. Does anyone have anything to pull from the consent agenda?
I'd like to pull items D and G under department report. Is that right? Or is that not it
It's
yet?
not part of the, it's not
That-
part of
that's-
it.
Yeah, the only thing that I see is under Public Works, under S, is to authorize Engel Electric for continuing services to Public Works.
Are you requesting to pull that item?
I am to pull it.
Okay, so we've got D and S. Is that the only two?
No, just this.
Just S? No, no D? Okay.
I'm making
Got a
a
motion
motion
to
to
approve
approve
the-
the consent agenda minus item S.
S.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Blackman, second by Alderman Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item S, Alderman Hinton. Item S.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just reading something. So the only thing that was under that, it needs to be corrected to July 31st, 2026, not 2025. So that was a clerical error under that.
The 1 month term, that wasn't good enough for you?
Alright. We need to make that a motion to clarify, right?
Yeah, make a motion to,
Item S with the date change.
yeah.
Got a motion for Alderman Hinton,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Blackman, all in favor?
Aye.
Good. Thanks. Department reports, does anyone have anything to pull from the docket of claim?
I'd like to pull items D and G, please.
Not from the department.
We're gonna vote on all
Where'd you
these
do
things.
each
We're gonna
of them?
vote on all of them.
Okay, now you, okay, so we want to, is there a motion to approve the docket of claim?
Need a motion.
So
Pay
moved.
bills.
Second.
All right, motion by Alderman Wade, second by Alderman Stennis, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, city clerk, accept the monthly budget report. Does anyone have any questions on the monthly budget report? Is there a motion to accept? No question.
Motion to accept the monthly budget report.
Got a motion by Alderman Blackman,
I'll second.
second by Tillis. Alderman Tillis, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, now on to department reports, huh, Patty? With city clerk, you got anything you want to cover there? No?
We're on item
You're
D,
good?
Bobby.
Right, C.
We're on
C.
C7C.
C.
I
C.
can talk about C if you want to.
It's all under
Yes.
department report.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, under C,
That's one.
there's a lot of stuff going on there. We got to close out Nate from 2017. We had a project that lingered, that took a while to get closed out. And we closed out Hurricane Zeta. So these two projects, and I tried to kind of explain the process to everybody. This money, this funds comes from us working Public Works for the cleanup, and we get hourly rates for the equipment. And so that is where, and then we handle the paperwork, and we get funds to help with that. It's good for the employees, it's good for the city. And as you can see, both of these storms, we came out with $448,000. I've suggested that we use some of these funds to buy the new grapple truck that's gonna be one of the purchases you're gonna see in a moment, because, and we'll let Alan explain what's going on with the trucks and the problems. Then the other, we need a second street sweeper, so I'm suggesting we take the balance to get a new street sweeper. That's gonna take a little bit longer because he's gonna need to come up with what kind of street sweeper they want. You all will need to approve that you agree, then we'll have to go to bid, so that's gonna be a 6 to 8 week process. And then we're probably gonna have to add some money to it, but we'll deal with that then. So at the bottom, there's a motion, we put it on here for you, if you agree with the plan for this money. Okay, there's a motion ready, so it won't be so hard for you all.
Okay, is there a motion to authorize the emergency purchase of a PAC-MAC K-20?
Nope, C.
I'm sorry, this is,
They get mixed up.
It's
gotcha,
confusing
gotcha.
because
Now,
they're
I
both
flipped
on
pages,
both.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Is there a
sorry.
motion to authorize entering into a 3-year agreement? Where are we at? Not on here then.
Close out reallocation of Hurricane Nate and Hurricane Zeta.
C.
I got you, got you. The only one that wasn't. Is there a motion to authorize the closeout of the Hurricane Nate and Hurricane Zeta funds and approve the transfer of $210,500 to the garbage fund for the emergency purchase of a grapple truck and $238,668.74 to the street fund with authorization to begin the reverse bid process for the purchase of a second street sweeper?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Blackman, second by Alderman Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Sorry about that. It's all blending together. Okay, item D. Authorize emergency purchase HVAC system replacement at police department. Patty?
Yeah, this is Shannon, is this where you had some questions? Okay, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Yep.
No, I was, if you could just spend a few moments about the emergency part.
Right, okay. So I would like to ask Di kind of explain what went on with these, if he could come over. I'm just the person that figures out the money. I'd like how the people who've got the problems explain them for you all.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn, the chief of police for the city. So the AON machines, the emergency purchase, when the building was built, the HVAC system we have, the attic area, from my understanding, I'm not an HVAC guy, it's dehumidifiers.
Please, y'all hold your discussion down, please.
They're basically dehumidifiers in the attic of the police department, and they're at the end of their life cycle, which the PD's 12 years old now. When they failed last year, we spent $16,000, I believe, on mold removal because of the humidity that stayed up in the attic of the police department. So our contracted service through Tempco is who does our HVAC work now. They don't work on that, so we actually had to bring in the company, a rep from the company to diagnose what was going on with them, and they don't make the parts for these machines anymore. So that's kind of where we're at, is they need to be replaced, or we're gonna be back in the same boat of mold and water damage back at the police department again. Because unfortunately, we're in the summer months now, so.
So as far as the financing and all, this does qualify for 2% because it is for public safety. So that's where it's gonna come out of. And also, I did talk to the state auditor's office because emergency purchase skipped the bid process. And they walked me through why we could do it because of mold and all. So that's the part I played in this.
Good, thank you.
And there's a motion at the bottom for you guys.
Got it.
He's gone.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for the chief?
Chief, got a question.
Yes, sir.
Looking at new technology and everything, have y'all looked at some other alternatives to remove the moisture and the heat from the attic space?
As far as I'm aware, like I said, I'm not an HVAC guy. With the system that is in place, that is what type of system is used to remove the humidity out of that area. I'm not aware of any other technology that would replace what we have that's there.
They struggle to get anybody to even come look at it. Such a major deal, and it's not the normal, because it's a 10,000 square foot building. I don't understand it either, but we've been working on this for about 7 months, trying to get this through, and we tried to buy one new one and take the other two, use the parts, and salvage one. And then there was just things going on with both of them to the point that they didn't feel like that we were gonna be able to do it that way.
There was no guarantee. The gentleman that comes out from Timco, he typed up a detailed report, kind of explaining, I believe that was provided to you guys, that some of the parts that they can't guarantee, even if they work and do patchwork on it, that if the failure of the coils or anything that's happened, I mean, they're just at the end of their life cycle. So I think that's where we're at with it.
What do we say that these been in use for, what, 12 years?
Yes, sir.
Now, it just seems like they went out in a pretty short period of time.
They've had repair work done on them in the past. Like I said, once again, I don't know the expected life cycle, but I know we're at a point now where they can't be repaired. If we put money into them, it's, basically, from what they said, if we could put money into them to fix them, it's kind of patching something that may last a year, and it's just, like I said, we've already spent $16,000 on mold removal due to the failure of them, so.
We were not under contract with Timco. We just hired them when we had problems, but about a year or two ago, we went under we pay about $4,800 a year just for them to come in, change the filters, and also we are watching things closer. So hopefully, if there's issues, they won't get as bad.
So then there's a good maintenance contract?
Well, I assume it covers that. That again would be the chief. I'm not a pro, but we do have a contract now with Timco.
Yeah, for several years, I think it was cost cutting, that the contract was cut to where we didn't have a company, and we kind of called as needed, so now they come out and do maintenance as it should be, check equipment and see prior to failure, just like you do at your home, so.
Well, we're looking at $140,000. Is this something we want to get, potentially a second opinion on, or is it we just want to move forward with just the first price that came across the board?
Well, I believe there has been others.
We've been doing it for 7 months. You can't hardly get anybody to even come out and give it a price. It's such a large commercial situation, not very many people here do it. So the police department has been looking for people and been working with it. So all this time that we're looking and doing, the mold is building again, which is what we had to clean up last time, which is why the state agreed to just go ahead and get it fixed before we have another mold issue. This has been about 7 months. This is not brand new.
Well, we had the same thing here in City Hall.
We did.
We had the same units, had to take those out, and they were only about 12, 13 years old as well. So it's problematic with those split systems like that, because there is no conditioning of the unconditioned space. It doesn't move enough air, so
Rob's right.
it's kind of a necessity at this point.
We changed City Hall back to the older type air conditioners that didn't require so much, but it took 5 units, and this is about 2,000 square foot, maybe 20.
And that was
That's
looked
like
at,
10,000 square
that
foot.
was looked at, I believe, as a solution, and it just wasn't feasible to do. So I think, thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you answering the questions, and I'd like to move on. Is there a motion to authorize an emergency purchase and budget amendment to hire Timco of the Gulf Coast for the replacement and installation of 2 Aeon HVAC units at the police department in the amount of $138,059.40 to be funded from the 2% food and beverage?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion, Alderman Pfeiffer, second by Alderman Blackman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passed. All right. Item E, would authorize the Motorola Solutions termination agreement and payment of final balance. Chief Dye and Patty, would y'all like to explain this one?
Well, Dye's a new chief also, and so I really feel like that we thought we were big enough for Motorola, but once I read through the contract now, it really takes 3 dedicated personnel to handle it, and we're just not at that level. The other company that we're going to return to is also with Jackson County and Goshen. The positive to that is we will be sharing our warrants. they will see our warrants, we'll see their warrants.
And plus, so the Motorola solutions that we have now is Motorola Spillman, that's our report management system. So everything we do at the PD, our computer aided dispatch, everything goes through the system. So we've had it since 2022. And basically this system, it's not, how can I put this? We would require 3 dedicated employees plus a full-time IT person to maintain the system on the back. I talked to the deputy chief at Biloxi, and they run the system also, and they have 2 dedicated IT people there that manage that system for them. So I think, it's not trying to point fingers, but when we were sold the Motorola product, which I wasn't part of that transition to them at the time, I think they sold us a product that wasn't fit for our agency size. So with that being said, we've tried to negate these issues with them, starting last December, having 2 Zoom calls twice a week, trying to resolve issues and promises that they couldn't come through with. And we just come to the determination with our regional guy that was coming down here trying to deal with this, that it's better for us to separate from them. We haven't paid them anything toward our contract. So that large number is over the past 3 years, we haven't paid them anything, because another problem was they couldn't get the invoice correct on stuff. So it's kind of been a mess, to say the least. So us transitioning back from Motorola Spillman to PTS Solutions, they also have 2 local reps that are based out of Louisiana. They cater to some more smaller agencies, so that would be a lot better report management system and CAD system for our agency.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for Jim? Okay, well, let's move on. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Is there a motion to authorize acceptance of the termination agreement with Motorola Solutions? Approved payment in the amount of $362,514.45.
So moved.
All right, with maintenance support continuing through August 29th, 2025, and approve a budget amendment to reduce the 2022 loan fund by $20,514.11 to cover the remaining balance of the payment. Got a motion?
Second.
By Alderman Hinton, second by Alderman Wade. All in favor?
I will point out, Bobby, this was part of the loan that we got in 20 for $1.9 million. I've been sitting on top of this money, and so I've only got to add a little bit to it to finish this out. And we've already paid that loan off. We paid that loan off in 3 years. So this is not hitting general fund, it's coming out of that loan.
Okay. All right, so we got one more here. Authorize entering into contract with PTS Solutions for police and court software. Patty, you want to?
Well, that's the next piece that Chief Guy just explained. That's the second part. That's putting us back into business with PTS.
Okay.
And the chief is going to use drug seizure money to get that up and running this year. And then we will pick up the money back in the next budget year for the year of the annual.
Thank you. Is there a motion to authorize entering into a 3-year agreement with PTS Solutions for police and court software in the total amount of $75,800 to be paid from the U.S. Treasury Equitable Seizures Fund as follows? $40,800 upon signing, $27,000 upon completion and completion of police conversion, and $8,000 upon completion of court conversion.
So moved.
Got a motion by Alderman Blackman.
Second.
Second by Alderman Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Okay. Authorize emergency purchase of a knuckle boom truck, Allen and Patty.
This is absolutely critical.
I gotta come up there?
That's between you and the board.
Either or.
I'd like it.
They can hear better, if you don't mind. And I apologize for so many special things tonight. They've all been being worked on a while. Unfortunately, they all came to the head as you all came on.
We have a lot to learn. So.
Well, it was a lot for me, trust me.
What do you want?
Tell them how we have 3 dirt trucks with 2.
We have 4 knuckle boom trucks, and I have 3 in the shop. My newest truck is 2019. I just got the estimate on it. It's $4,700 to get out of the shop. The only truck that I have that's been reliable for the last 6 weeks is the truck we bought from the county for $1. So, it's getting to the point to where we can't keep up with the trash, especially with the new annexation areas and all out there. With just one truck and trailers, don't have people for it.
Well, I can vouch for this because I see Alan and his guys out every weekend in my ward with a trailer, getting out hand loading it. And it's days, if not weeks behind in some areas. And this is just something
We're
that,
slowly, surely catching up with it.
yeah, we really need to.
Rain's actually
move on
helping
this.
us.
Totally agree. So,
So the reason he chose the Pac-Man, so I gave you all 4 copies of the thing, and tried to figure out what you all would need to hear about them. But the reason we chose the Pac-Man is this is the same truck that the county has, just so you know.
Pac-Mac to K20.
So you're gonna
Yes,
go
sir.
tomorrow and drive it back, right?
Yes, it's already set up for a purchase order, he had me do that today.
Monica and I'll be up there
Yeah.
tomorrow, get off the
Good
road.
deal.
So it's ready,
Y'all gotta make a decision now, do you want the sweeper first or the
want the boom truck
first?
truck.
Take both of them.
I like both of them on the same day. Let's get them in here
That
quick.
work too?
It's got a trailer hitch on it, you can just pull it back.
It don't work like that.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Let me check with them.
Yeah, that's enough.
Let's move on. Is there a motion to authorize the emergency purchase of a Pac-Mac K20 boom truck from Burroughs Companies in the amount of $210,500 to be paid from the garbage fund and approve a budget amendment to accommodate the purchase?
So moved.
I got a motion by Alderman Wade, a second by Alderman Hinton. Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And remember, this came out of your storm money, even though it really doesn't say that here. So it came from storm money, and it will make you money during.
That was money we made with the last knuckle boom truck that we wore out.
That we wore it out.
Store money, FEMA money?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay, now we'll move on to the general public comment. Public is invited to address the board for up to 3 minutes each for a maximum period of 30 minutes. Priority will be given to the residents of Ocean Springs and business owners. Please identify yourself before speaking. Please, Coach.
Ronald Chambers. You need my address?
Oh, you're good, Ron. This name's good.
All right, thank you. Congrats to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am not here to represent the school board. I want y'all to take under advisement or to put to action. It's about the shortfall loan. Taxes collected from the city and county, county and cities for the school board district, a shortfall of $500,000. I'm not here to point the finger at anybody. I'm not here to say who's wrong. It's about going in the right direction. It's not about illegal, not ethical. It's about integrity, and it's about the children. Please consider it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Anybody else like to address the board?
Shannon, I'm gonna earn my new nickname. First, I wanted to ask that, I have a couple items that I want to mention to the board. I want the board to consider. It may take a minute or two longer than the 3 minutes allotted. Most of y'all are already aware of these items. They've been very hot button issues for the community. Some of the issues are the ones that propelled y'all into y'all's new offices. And first among those is the urban development plan, or the urban redevelopment plan, and all of its variations, because we went into 3 different variations of it, I couldn't even keep up anymore. I respectfully requested that this Board of Aldermen and new mayor withdraw from that plan. We had many representatives from our community here in the audience tonight, the press, that went through that arduous process of denial, of not making our minority community aware of what went on through the whole process. And now we have one of our major churches, Macedonia Church, that is embroiled in a lawsuit, which should have never happened.
I implore this new board to reconsider the urban development plan, to withdraw from it and make it right with our minority community. That should be primary on the list that y'all have. I know y'all have a lot, but that should be one of the first things that y'all consider. Second thing is, this is nothing new to y'all. The last 3, 4, 5, 6 meetings, I've come before this board, the previous board, and I've come before this board now for the Pond Street development. I'm requesting that y'all withdraw from the TIF plan. I had a discussion with the mayor at the last meeting, had a discussion with some of the board members. I understand it doesn't stop this guy from developing the property. I understand that. I clearly understand it. I know all 4 documents, and I've read them repeatedly and quoted them here at this meeting. But what it will do, it will de-incentivize this guy. $5 million worth of de-incentivization. Because his plan is, approved by DEQ, is to bore a slab over the top of it. Of course, the DEQ has said, if you do that, that's fine, but you can't have occupancy on the first floor. Now, what message does that send to the community, to the guests that would be staying at this complex, this hotel? Those chemicals, those chemical carcinogens are still leaching out. It doesn't matter what they put on top of it, they're still leaching out. This board needs to take seriously its obligation for public safety and withdraw from the TIF plan. The redevelopment plan, I think y'all are all on board with this. It turned out to be a good idea. It's something that the city has to do, it's something that the city should do, but it morphed with Slaughter and Associates into all kinds of things. They weren't listening to what the planning board was telling them. They weren't listening to what the board of aldermen were directing to them. There was a lot of miscommunication. I sat in at least 3 public hearings at the planning meeting where...
You're talking about the comp plan?
Yeah, not the redevelopment plan, yeah.
So I sat in 3 of those meetings where they were going over the same issue. This was 3 months in a row. They went over the same issue. There was no communication between them, and there was no communication with the board of aldermen. We really need to step back and come with a plan to work on the plan. I really think this is one of my personal issues. I think the city needs to seriously consider hiring a court reporter for these meetings and having these meetings taken minutes down and published on the website. So there's no miscommunication on what's said, who said, what was said in the public comments, and I abbreviated to, I'm just going to say this boldly, not to benefit one group and not the other. We need to know exactly what is said at these meetings, and the public needs to be aware of it. I think that y'all really need to take a look at reevaluation of all the city positions, their job titles, and their job functions. There's been a lot of juggling of those over the past, at least that I know of, 2 years, because I did a lot of public requests for information, and those have morphed and changed. I think this board, the mayor who's in charge of the city employees, needs to take a comprehensive look structurally at how that works and implement a fair job description for the job duties that the city employees perform. I think that the city needs to create an ad hoc committee to look and examine at all of our ordinances. We've worked through these over the past 4 years, this past administration, and they have contradictions built into one another. They're not stacked where you can reference one to the other. Some of them are so antiquated, the language no longer applies to our city and what the direction that we're going. I think the board needs to consider setting up a committee to examine all of those. And I think the city should re-implement the tree committee. That's something that's come up and has been very controversial when it was dismantled. I think the city needs to re-implement the tree committee. If there's something specific that the city, the Board of Aldermen wants to be considered, the board should get together and write bylaws for the committee if there's a way that y'all want it implemented. I think that is, and finally, my final comment, and I've said this before, I said it with Matthew at the planning committee, I said it at the ZAB meeting, I said it at the historical meeting, and I've said it numerous times here. So when you conduct a public hearing, or there's a discussion going on with planners and developers, their lawyers, their representatives, they'll hire specific planning representatives, come before you, stand up here like Wade does, and they give the project plan. They tell you what they're going to do. and then you open it for public comment. And what happens, the public comes up here and comments, and then the planning and developer representative comes back and he gets to rebut what they said. The public doesn't have the ability to rebut what they're saying. I think they need to be cut off, but the public needs to be allowed to have a second go back. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Anyone else like to? Yes, ma'am. Step up and state your name.
Mine real quick, Renee Oliver. I just want to know if you could consider having signs put up in those areas that you don't want 18-wheelers. Because I can't really afford to keep spending money fixing my fences because 18-wheelers are destroying them.
This is down Robinson?
Yeah, Robinson closest to Handy, state between State and Handy. In that particular area for sure.
Thank you.
James Lewis, 805 Cambridge Drive, Ward 5. I have 3 items here. Last meeting, I asked about the report on the Davis and Heron Bayou Bridge. Have we received that from the state or from the county? I don't know if we received that as of yet.
No, we have not, but James will be reaching out and getting all of that.
Okay, my second thing is Davis Bayou has a pothole on the west-south side of the road, just before you get to the bridge. I hit that thing again today, and there's a jarring sensation
On
there.
Government Street?
There's a pothole on the west side, and it's on the south side of the bridge. If you're going east, just before you get to
But it's on Government Street is what you're talking about?
Right, government,
Okay.
they call it government, or they call it, it's right there. Also, my third point is this. On Knapp Road, there are 3 pine trees on the east side of Knapp Road as you're coming back north. And the address is 126. They have the roots of those pine trees that are up under the asphalt and pushing the asphalt up. And Knapp is a very narrow street, so if you're driving there and someone is going south and you're going north, and you get, that's what you get every time. That's tearing your vehicle up. I know the city not going to go back in and pay for nobody's for an alignment, but that's an issue that needs to be addressed. Thank you, Board County. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Greg Gibson again. I'm here, I just want to address the urban renewal plan. And I'm asking this new board and administration that you go back and do away with it and strike it down. What I have seen over the last 3 years, what we have endured, myself and our group, We Shall Not Be Moved. You have to understand, there were 3 groups, community groups, that formed out of all this urban renewal plan. We have lost friendships, we stopped speaking to each other. This city was divided. And this city should not be divided. We should all work together and come together and put this to rest. We need to put it to rest immediately. One thing we can say is that we love Ocean Springs and we know what we need to do is right. And if you know better, you do better. And this board that we have here know better. And I know y'all want to do better, what's in the best interest of this community. And I'm saying this, think about the residents that live in that ward that was actually targeted. And that's exactly what it was targeted. Nobody apologized, oh, we made a mistake, we put the cart before the carriage and all this stuff. It is just wrong, it's absolutely wrong. And we need to close that chapter. We need to come together as a city and we need to do what's right for the residents of Ocean Springs and just shut this completely down, this urban renewal plan completely down. If it's that important that homes need to be repaired, then guess what? Give them a citation. Give them a citation, you enforce the law. Once you enforce the law and you give notice, they don't have no choice but to comply. And then you go back and say, these are the steps that you're gonna have to do to get everything in order. But I can't if I go to your neighborhood or come to your house and say, I see this, and it's wrong. That is absolutely wrong, people. You can't tell people what their house should look like and put their information on a website and tell them, we're gonna monitor your property. It's not like, I don't go to your home and tell you what I'm going to monitor. But we've got to do what's right. If you do what's right, good things are gonna follow us. And I'm confident that this board and our new mayor is gonna do what's right. So please, sir, please, ma'am, y'all look at it, talk about it, discuss it. If you have questions, involve the community. You know, let's not say we're gonna do it this way without involving the community, because that's what Ocean Springs was built on, and that's what this whole city was built on. And one thing about it, Macedonia was a part of this city, and some great people have come out of Macedonia too. So please understand that we need to just get rid of this urban renewal plan, and let's have some conversation about it, some open dialogue, and let's close this chapter and move forward with the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to address the board? Yes, ma'am.
Melissa Burton, I'll be quick. Y'all already know there was a public notice that was put out that said that our alley vacation issue was going to be on the agenda today. It was taken off of the agenda. We are simply asking that this board, following in the footsteps of everybody else, please fix what the last board did. We're asking that you rescind the action that the Board of Aldermen took at the last meeting and allow us to actually have our appeal heard. We filed an appeal, another property owner filed an appeal, and we never have had an opportunity for that appeal to be heard. So I know a decision's not going to be made today. You'll have to talk about it. You have to go through it. New attorney, thank goodness. Please consider rescinding that approval and let us have our appeal heard and schedule the actual appeal to be heard before the Board of Aldermen.
Thank you. Anybody else? Doc?
Bill Moore, Ward 2. First, I want to thank and congratulate each and every one of you for joining, our city leadership. I think public service is great. It's also difficult, and so, I think y'all are open and listening, and we think that's great, and look forward to the next, several years working together. I wanted to also, I'm on the Ocean Springs Chamber of Commerce, our Main Street and tourism. It's a mouthful, but we do a lot of things, and we really enjoy our relationship with the city. The aldermen historically have really come out and helped us do our job to promote the city, and we hope we can do the same thing for you guys to keep Ocean Springs growing in a way that the citizens and our membership and everybody wants. So for those of you who reached out and worked with the chamber a lot, thank you so much. And for those of you who are kind of less familiar with the chamber, please come on, meet with Cynthia, and see what we can do together to really help the city move in the direction we all want to see. And I want to remind everybody, 2 weeks from tomorrow will be our first breakfast with the mayor. It's going to be at Four Pools at 8 a.m. So everybody come out and you can pepper Bobby with questions and find out what else is new with the city. So thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else want to address the board? Okay. And I would just like to say, being our first meeting, we definitely stretched the time limit, and I think we might entertain extending that 3 minutes permanently to a little bit longer time, possibly. But I just want to let you know that I wasn't sitting up here just letting the residents run over the board by going over their time limit. We were already expecting to allow you to speak longer. So just wanted to let y'all know that. But thank y'all, and we're gonna move on to Alderman Thornberry. Alderman Tillis.
Did you say mayor?
Yeah.
is now a good time to make a motion, or?
Yes, sir. If you want to, whatever you have for
So,
your
I want to move to make a motion to place all city contracts under review for the next 60 days.
I'll second that.
We got a motion by Alderman Tillis, a second by Alderman Piper. Any discussion?
Which contracts in particular? I mean,
Just all of the city contracts that we have, that we, have the opportunity to review them.
What does that mean? Because we pay them every month. Are you just saying you just want to look at them while they're still going? Is that-
Yeah, we'd like to be able to look at them to see
Yeah,
what.
you need to review them, yeah, okay. Just want to make sure we.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
And then, I was looking over the city leases, and I've noticed some discrepancies with the dates that don't align with the dates that should be there. Looks like they may have been copy and paste, which I'm sure that's done all the time, but, so I'm not sure who I need to Patty, do I need to get with you on that and just kind of go over with you on them?
I'm sorry, what was you
Oh, he's talking about the leases. You can get
Yeah.
with me.
Okay, yeah, some of the leases don't have the correct dates.
Okay.
There's some of them are dating back 2024 when they should be looking forward 2025, 2026.
And we appreciate if you point that out, Dick, you'll be the one that deal with it.
Okay. And then I'd also, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to make a motion to approve a part-time arborist.
Okay. Got a motion?
Hey, Bob, you don't have any pay or anything?
No,
We need just,
we got to get to the discussion part
Okay.
to discuss that. So you got to,
That'll be in the motion, right?
we have a motion, and do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Alderman Wade, and now we need discussion on salary, moving forward. That all has to be reviewed, so.
I think that should be done by, on an as-needed basis, contracted as an as-needed basis.
That's kind of what we
we
have.
do that now, I think. Darryl, can you explain what we do when a tree gets hit or whatever?
Yes, if we have a tree that's diseased or is in question for any type of safety, we actually hire a arborist to go out and look at it, comes out of a tree fund. But if you're hiring somebody on a regular basis to work full, part-time, whatever, to make decisions on all trees, then that would be what she's talking about.
Okay, so we do have somebody that we.
Yeah, if we have,
We go to.
like, for example, the tree
The library.
right in front of the library, we had a moving truck, just about took the limb off. Well, we didn't want to lose limb because of the health of the tree. We had an arborist come out and look at it and determine what could be done to save the limb.
Who do we normally use?
We used to use Ben Camus. Since then, he's no longer doing that. We hadn't had to use anybody since, but there are others that I could reach out to.
Anytime we think we need one, we call one to come out and just pay them for that tree.
Okay, and that's something that I wasn't aware of that. That's
Yes, sir.
something that I was really kind of looking to make sure that we, have that ability.
Yes, sir. And of course, we can't do it on private property, we're just looking at our trees.
So is there a certain criteria you use? What is the criteria we have for an arborist?
If you had, say, one of the trees downtown, had something wasn't looking right on it, well, we'd have somebody go look at it.
I mean more as far
If we had
as,
like a hollow place in the tree, we thought maybe there was some safety issues there or whatever.
I think she means whether they're certified.
A certified licensed
like
arborist.
maybe that's something we need to look at is who we're contracting with.
So we were working with Melanie Allen and them on this whole tree. There's some money that we've been putting back into the is it Connor?
Connor.
Yeah. And so we have been putting $20,000 a year back to take care of the trees. Right now, Wade is in the process of trying to, Wade, can you explain where we're at with that process?
Right. We have contacted arborist with Fulgums, who is supposedly looking at the trees in the Washington Avenue and Government Street area, and supposed to be getting back to us with a
With a plan.
plan of it and a cost estimate. I need to follow up with them, see what the process, how progress is making on that, but that's where we are in terms of getting an arborist to see what kind of maintenance needs to be performed on those trees.
And that was the same company that Ben worked for, so it's possible you could use the person who has contact with it.
So it is a certified licensed arborist who's called Shannon.
I'm just saying, as long, if that's something we need to establish, like criteria.
Well, I think it is there.
I mean, if y'all have some that wanna call in, we can get them on a list or something, that'd be great, because I don't know who they are myself.
That's kind of the direction I'd like to just go
That's
on
what I
further.
thought, yeah, I thought that's what we were trying to do.
Maybe so, if y'all know some.
Well, that would be just to create a list of certified arborists that we could pull from, you know, but
Have you ever used Mississippi State Extension Service? No? Sometimes it's free of charge.
We use that gentleman, what's the gentleman's name, Bobby, that helps us with cutting the trees, Alan?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he's on the internet. He's with the Mississippi, Gary.
yeah, Bachman.
Gary Bachman, thank you, Cynthia. He's helped us.
So Steve has a motion though,
But
right?
I think
I'll
that
be willing to present a motion if we already have somebody in place that we're using. So, just wasn't aware, so I'll withdraw that.
All right.
That's gonna do it for me.
That's it. Okay, Alderman Stennis.
I've got three things. One, great big thanks for allowing me to serve in Ward 2, as well as for the city of Ocean Springs, a town that I love very much. And I hope that my constituents will feel free to contact me for any problems, anything they have. But I appreciate you allowing me to do this. I just wanted to see if we could, and this is to Alan, if we could take that sign, that wooden sign that used to have the marina on it. The marina sign is gone, it's on the fair. Could we get those 2x4s down, 4x4, whatever it is there, take it down, make it look, I mean, that property is, you know, it's a staging area, I know, right now, but I think it would be a little nicer if we could get that down. And I have a motion that I would like to make, and I would move that the Board of Aldermen vote to rescind ordinance amendment number 2025-03, effective immediately, with the understanding that any future consideration of extending the civil service coverage must first obtain the explicit approval of the Civil Service Commission as required by Mississippi Code 213113.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second by Alderman Tillis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No, if it's a motion, if it's an ordinance, it's a roll
Roll
call.
call. Need a roll call? It's a motion to rescind the,
There's already a motion, so there was a motion.
motion and a
Am I correct,
second.
Ms. Dennis? She's saying to rescind the motion that was passed.
in a
It's in
second.
the ordinance that was passed.
But the ordinance was already, it's past the 30 days, so it's, would be,
Under the statute section, the ordinance has to be approved. The alderman can vote to amend the ordinance.
it would be
But
amending.
it has to be approved by the Civil Service Commission, because the statute says the alderman may extend the civil service to other employees. The Civil Service Commission has taken no action to approve the ordinance, so by making this motion, the board is taking the amended ordinance off of the agenda for the Civil Service Commission.
We have a motion and a second.
Can you give me that motion
Do we need a roll call?
for the minutes, please?
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion passed.
That does it for me.
All the way.
Alan, thanks for those few easements on Ridgeview and Parkwood and by the school. They really look good. I'd like to say something about Pine Drive. I'd like to get something started about maybe a third-party assessment. We've been dealing with this for, a year and a half now. Don't really have any evidence of how bad the contaminants is. And so I'd like to make a motion to start the process and request an estimate from a third-party environmental consulting firm to do an independent study and an evaluation on the contaminants in the city's right-of-ways and possibly the neighboring properties if permission is given around the Leica property on Pine Drive.
Motion, do we have a second?
I will second that, Ken.
Have a second by Alderman Pfeiffer. We don't need a roll call.
Do you have someone in mind? How are we gonna find this person?
I think there's several,
Do you guys have an idea? Was that,
There's companies that we can call in.
and then are you going to allocate any funds to pay this person?
We're going to find out what our estimate is before we
estimate.
vote it done.
Can we get a discussion on this?
Well, you do it before you vote.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I seconded.
Second by, okay, discussion.
Is there a way that, let's just say that's gonna cost us $25,000 to do that. Is there a way that we can get reimbursed, to hold Leica responsible and get reimbursed for it?
That is something that will have to be run through our attorney to
I mean, I'm not sure.
State your question for me, so I can write it down, so I'm gonna have to look into it.
So in the event that we spend, $25,000, is there a way that we can get reimbursed from the property owners of Leica? I mean, I'm not sure if we're talking about $25,000, $50,000, $75,000.
We're not either.
Well, that's why I said estimate. Nobody knows.
That's something that we can get the estimate and try to find that answer out also.
You're just giving the permission to
To-
try to hire someone.
To get
To come back to the board.
an estimate.
To get an estimate.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Anything else? Okay, Alderman Pfeiffer?
This is where we're gonna talk about our individual committees. Bring that up here.
We don't have committees, but
Or different appointments for HR, engineering, where do we go? What,
we can discuss, you're talking about it to assist the city clerk and HR.
HR, engineering, insurance, and their finance?
Yes. Yes.
All right, what do we want to start with first? HR? We need 3 positions for.
We need a motion to appoint 3 aldermen to assist the HR department.
Is that where I need to start?
That's what we need a motion with the 3 names of whoever wants to assist.
I make a motion that we put Karen Stennis, Julie Messenger, and Steve Tillis on HR.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Got a second by Alderman Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then Shannon, we'll need a motion to appoint 3 aldermen to assist the city clerk.
Make a motion to appoint 3 aldermen to assist the city clerk. For the finance committee. To assist the city clerks, period. We have Rob Blackman, we need 3 aldermen. One is Rob Blackman,
Kevin Wade.
second Kevin Wade, and I'll be the 3rd. Do we
I
have a
second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. I did, Matthew.
Okay, Shannon, we need a motion to appoint 3 aldermen to assist with insurance.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint 3 aldermen to assist with insurance,
Are we talking about the property and,
casualty property,
okay,
vehicular.
okay, but not the.
To assist.
No personnel, personal medical. Okay. Do we have a tribute?
I volunteer.
Steve Tillis, and we need 2 more.
I'll volunteer.
There's 1 more for insurance.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay,
All right, so we need,
need a motion to appoint 2 aldermen to assist
we need
along.
to vote on that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And they need
Got
a
motion
second.
And we got a motion from Ms. Pfeiffer, we need a second
Second.
by Ms. Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Then the next one is a motion to appoint 2 aldermen to assist along with the Public Works Director, the building official, and the project manager with the engineering.
That is my motion. We
Second.
need 2 for engineering.
I'll do it.
I'll do
I'll
it.
take, oh,
What?
you?
I want to, yeah.
And I said me?
Good call. We have a Matt and a Kevin. Any seconds to that?
We got a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second by Alderman Tillis, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. Got anything else?
No, sir.
Are you gonna say something about the 3 department heads, Bobby, or you just want to
It's,
let me know?
it's,
Public Works
the works director, the building official, and the project manager.
Okay.
All right, Alderman Blackman.
I'm pretty good in Ward 5 right now, but I did just want to welcome everybody new on the board. Kevin, you're but just welcome everybody and wish you all good luck in this next 4 years.
I'm glad to have you too, Rob.
Okay, Alderman Messenger.
I'd like to make a motion to review and suspend the RDA for further review.
I second.
We have a motion by Alderman Messenger, a second by Alderman Hinton. Any discussion? Not,
So when you say suspend, Mayor, you want to, are we killing it or?
No, it's just for review.
Pause it.
Just for review.
okay.
Give time to reevaluate.
What they doing?
We got a motion and a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor, we've already had, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. Do we have anything else, Julie? All right, Alderman Hinton.
All right. As I'll kind of take a note from what Karen was saying, it's a really honor to serve Ocean Springs and its residents. I love this community and thank you for, entrusting, me in this position. There is one thing I would like to do that hits me very deep, is that I would like to make a motion to form a new tree committee through Ocean Springs that will be a 7-person board, and each ward will be represented. And I would like to also, with that being done, to have a work session to see how that tree committee is to be set up.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Can we, Vicki, did you get that motion down?
Can you say it again? Can you say it again?
Yeah, the motion is to form a new tree committee that will be a 7-person, one from each ward with an at-large position. And I would like to do a work session, to see how the committee is to be set up.
Work session with whom?
The Board of Aldermen.
An attorney to write the
Yes.
guidelines or who's?
Yes. To get guidance from the attorney.
Okay, we got a motion by Alderman Hinton. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Alderman Stennis. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, is that all you got?
Yes.
thinking of something else. Okay, I'll tell you, it's been a long day today after the excitement last night with the installation of swearing in of all the Board of Aldermen and the honoring of Colonel Farragut. I just want to say thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank everybody for being cordial tonight and being patient with us, being new up here to several new positions. I don't know if you can tell it, but I am very excited to be sitting here in this chair and very happy to represent the city of Ocean Springs. So I want to thank the Chamber, Main Street. I want to thank everybody, the City Hall staff, Public Works, Parks and Rec, everybody that worked on that event last night. It was very nice. It was really a special feeling about last night, but I just want to make sure I said thank you to everybody. And that's all I have. So we need to move with a motion to go to executive session.
Motion to go to closed session.
Closed session.
To determine the need for executive session.
So move.
Got a motion and a second. Alderman Hinton. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Good.
I'll do anybody your nickname, now you have to tell them.
I don't know if we need to request it or it was an agreement that they're automatically gonna do it. I need to see if I can find it. Yeah. And you don't, I mean, I can email him. I don't know if it's that we need to make a request or it was an automatic agreement. Okay. Now, I say it's not showing where it should. I was gonna check with my staff tomorrow, just make sure it didn't get posted wrong, because that could happen too. It could have got posted. If they didn't post it right, you know, because I noticed today I was working on the budget, and that's what they gave us for annexation. And I think that's the agreement for Harbor Park and all the parts, but it doesn't show it being here. That's what I'm saying. I can check tomorrow first and try to make sure my people didn't post it wrong. But last year it was like in May. I just didn't. Sometimes we have to request stuff. You know, sometimes they send it. So it's one of those things I wasn't sure how they were doing it. Okay, everybody. Okay. Motion made by Rob and seconded by Kevin to stay in executive session to discuss potential litigation, pending litigation by Rosenberg, Fisher, Creer, and the Thule Burton appeal, and then the discussion of a city lease.